What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be discussing some more Call of Duty League DraftKings match breakdowns. Today I'm going to be addressing some of my favorite picks on today's matches. Yesterday we had some great matches, as well as we can see here. Optic Texas advanced, in the tournament by beating London Royal Ravens 3-0. We also had some very interesting matches yesterday, and today we have some good matches to watch. A lot of teams have been eliminated already, so I'm looking forward to see the fireworks we watch today. And with that being said, if you like esports, if you like Call of Duty, if you like betting on DraftKings or other platforms, feel free to like or subscribe, comment with your opinions and your picks down below. I'm open to suggestions and listening to others' opinions as well, so feel free to do that. And with that being said, let's go into the matches. I know that for this slate we're going to be having the Toronto Ultra against Minnesota Rocker. We're also going to be having Atlanta versus the Thieves, and the Water Brothers in Seattle, Surge versus the Florida Mutineers. So it's going to be banger matches today, all day, and I'm sure there's going to be a little bit more after that aren't going to be bettable, I believe. So feel free to input your picks down below, so give me some ideas as well, and let's get to it. So for the next matchup, we have a banger, which is gonna be of a match here for the first match of the Call of Duty League slate. This match is going to be hard to predict just because both teams have actually been on fire. Toronto Ultra and Minnesota Rocker, one of the best players, or not players, teams in the game rather. These teams have shown that they have, a lot of talent, and they can pull through even up until these stages of the major. They're both still in contention, but one of them is gonna eliminate each other. So I do feel like Toronto Ultra and Minnesota Rocker are very even, in terms of odds as well. As you can see here, Bobata has them at Minnesota Rocker is actually a favorite, and I kind of agree with that. Havok and Attach have been going absolutely nuts for Minnesota Rocker, and I do believe that this stage is the time for them to shine, and it's now or never. So they know that they've been to majors before and they haven't won, even back to the one in Minnesota. So I know Minnesota is going to come out with some fire in them today. So as for prices for the specific matchup, we have here Standy being the most expensive of the flex, and Bance being the most cheapest, flex position as well, 6,200. So as we can see here, we have the Rocker and Ultra at elimination round 2. So once they're done, it sucks to see because both teams are really good. But I do have a hunch that Minnesota Rocker might squeak out a win here. Maybe. It's really hard. It's gonna have to be a 3-2 or something, right? To me, honestly, a value pick here would be Havok again. Havok or Kleenex, just for the sole purpose that Havok has just been going absolutely nasty. If you look at the game log, last fantasy game he posted the most he had ever posted, 151 fantasy points, and I had him on my king position and I still lost, even though all my players had 100 plus fantasy points. That's crazy. So Havok has been on a tear. Havok, as well as we see Kleenex here, 7,600. Kleenex has been doing really good. 128 fantasy points was his last outing, as you can see here by the game log. He just performs. He's been performing, and at 7,600, he's a great value. The problem is that both of these teams are facing each other, so not all of these players are going to meet their value. Cammy at 8,400 also, but he's also been producing a lot recently. He's been consistent in those 100 fantasy points. If I had to choose a couple of my value plays, I'm obviously going to say Hey About Kleenex. Hey About Kleenex are the ones I'm going to say are the value picks here. I'm going to predict pretty much a 3-2 victory by Minnesota Rocker. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes to Toronto 3-2. They're a really good team fundamentally. They know how to play. They've been playing for a while together, so they have that chemistry. But yeah, with that being said, before I forget, the team position as well. Minnesota Rocker is slightly over Toronto Ultra with $200. Honestly, I don't know who to pick. This is a coin toss in my opinion. So with that being said, I think this is going to be a 3-2 Minnesota Rocker victory. And we have Seattle versus Florida in this next matchup. And let's take a look at what that matchup looks like over there. All right. So for the next matchup, we have another coin toss in my opinion. Now, both of these teams are fucking awesome. I like how they play. These are the Water Brothers, the Seattle Surge, and the Florida Mutineers. Both of the water teams, the water boys, you could say. But these matchups are gonna be crazy today. I know the odds on this one are Seattle Surge to win at -170. That's pretty coin flip to me. We have Sib at 10,000 in the highest price range here on this one, and then we have Vivid at 6,400 in the lowest. This is gonna be a scrappy match. I'm gonna love to see this one. I'm also gonna predict a 3-2 victory by Seattle. I feel like they are gonna win. For some reason, as you can see here, they've been on a tear. They beat Paris, they beat Thieves, they beat Florida, they beat London, they beat New York, and I think they have what it takes to beat Florida again, right? So they beat Florida recently, 3-1. That's what leads me to believe that they're going to beat them again, because they beat them recently, literally like 3 games ago. Just solely off of that. I don't want to predict them losing when they just beat them, but I'm still looking at these values here. If we could see the Florida breakdown, Florida beat Boston, beat Thieves, beat Texas, so Florida can still make a comeback and get on the board against them. They could be 1-1, so and this major 3, but I do believe that some of the best value here is definitely in like a player like Skies. Maybe he's not the cheapest, but Skies is always overperforming. If you can see here, he got 158 fantasy points against Texas. To be fair, I do think they just got Texas's number, but for the most part, they really know how to play. Skies really knows how to play it, but I retract what I said. He doesn't look to be too consistent with the fantasy points. He's all over the place, but his upside is really high. The value is probably going to be more with a player like Vivid. If Florida ends up getting like a 3-2 scrappy victory, Vivid, a player that's so cheap, 6,400, is probably going to end up getting a lot of kills. Hopefully, if he can limit his depths, like I've said before, he could probably do really good. So this matchup, it's really a coin flip for me, but I'm leaning a little bit towards Seattle, so I'd say Seattle 3-2 victory. If I were to pick some plays here, I'd definitely go with like Vivid or Mac, just because they are the cheapest, and Mac has a high ceiling. And the Seattle Surgeon is also very low or accuracy as well. And if you just want to go straight to the meat, just Sib or Awakening, right? But with that being said, this match, I know it's going to be a banger, and I can't wait to watch it. So let's go over the last matchup of the day, which I believe is Atlanta versus the Thieves. Let's talk about that one. So for the next matchup, we have the last matchup of the slate. We're going to be having Atlanta versus the LA Thieves. Now, I'll tell you what, the LA Thieves obviously have surprised a lot of people. Nobody really thought that they were going to be here, this far in to the tournament, right, in the winner's bracket, much less. But they did beat Minnesota. I do not think they're gonna beat FaZe. I mean, it's safe to say like everybody would put their money on FaZe here, and the odds reflect that at -350. Atlanta FaZe is a favorite, and then LA Thieves are at a +250. I just don't think the Thieves have what it takes to beat FaZe right now in the stage that they have been looking. Yes, they beat Minnesota 3-2, but that was a very close matchup that Minnesota should have won. They lost to Florida 0-3. They lost to Texas 0-3. They beat Boston 3-0, but then before that they got swept by Minnesota 0-3, swept by Seattle. They beat London 3-0, So, I mean, I don't think LA Thieves are in shape here. I wouldn't advise getting anybody in that team. I feel like our city's at 7,000 is the key play here. He's been going off. He went off last matchup. Previous to that, he had been going off. I do think our cities has what it takes here to be a key play. If they get a 3-0 on LA Thieves, that's going to be quick business for them. I see FaZe doing that. It's going to be really good for them. I'd say our cities, and I know Abeezy's been struggling a little bit as of late. Not really, but I've seen him start games off bad. But I feel like at 9,200, he's a really good deal. I would say Abeezy, our cities, really good. 9,200 and 7,800 for our cities. Our cities at the king position is 11,700. Abeezy's 13. And the team positions are 3,800 for FaZe, and Thieves are at 2,400. So obviously, I don't feel comfortable picking anybody on the LA Thieves size. But if you want to be contrarian, knock yourself out. Choose one of the LA Thieves players, and who knows, they might prove all of us wrong, right? Because I feel like you'd have to be out of your mind to put money on Thieves in this position. But yes, like I said, our cities, Abeezy, simp at 9,800, decent, but I mean, he hasn't really hit 100 fantasy points as of late. That concerns me just from a fantasy standpoint. Not that I'm worried about Simp not being a good player. It's just the value that he's bringing right now at this moment. But if this is a 3-0, everybody's gonna eat here. Celium, 10,200. I don't know. Might be a little bit too expensive, but if it's a 3-0, it's gonna be worth it. So that's what I'm gonna predict. I'm gonna predict a 3-0 for Atlanta FaZe to the LA Thieves, and that concludes my thoughts on what I think is gonna happen this slate. My favorite value picks here for each matchup. Let me know in the comments what you think personally, your thoughts. And I look forward to making these videos over and over again. Trying to diversify the type of videos I make to make like some entertaining content that involves gameplay as well, like wages and stuff like that. That's in the works for the future. But for the meantime, feel free to follow, feel free to comment. I'm down to bet all the time in DraftKings, so I'm going to be pumping out this content for all sorts of esports here in the coming future. So with that being said, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you later.